Hey guys, today I want to talk about living alone in the Philippines. We have a few guys here that live alone here in the Philippines, but we don't have many, but we have a few. We have some guys that are single, they're looking for a girlfriend, and usually they find a girlfriend, usually within the first year to 6 months or whatever. When you're here living alone, you definitely want to have some friends or whatever that are going to take care of you if you get sick or if the worst comes and you die or something like that. Most of us are retirees, and we wait for that inevitable moment to come, and you need somebody here that's going to contact somebody or is going to be willing to take care of phone calls, calling the embassy, doing all the things that you need to do when somebody passes away, or if somebody goes to the hospital and they have to run to the ATM, they have to get your money, what have you. If you're incapacitated, you can't talk or something like that, you need to have somebody that's going to speak for you. Okay, and you need to have that in writing, and you should have an attorney write all that stuff out and find somebody or a friend, or maybe a Filipino friend or American friend or whatever, but make sure an attorney writes all that stuff out so that it's all legal and it's all good. So, and also you want to have the money available to pay for medical costs, or for if you die or something, you want to make sure that somebody is able to get a hold of money to bury you, have you cremated, do whatever, and you need to have those wishes written down too. So make sure you have all this stuff taken care of before this stuff happens. And it does happen. We see this happening all the time where people get sick, they go into the hospital, they don't have a girlfriend, and there's nobody there to take care of them. And we've seen many of these stories before where this stuff happens, and you definitely want to be prepared for that. But we also have a guy here now. He's married. He's a married individual, and he doesn't have enough money for his medical costs right now, and that's why you need to have some sort of insurance. At least get the Pacific Cross Select plan. We call it the peso plan on my channel because it's paid out in pesos. But if you get this plan, at least you got anywhere from $10,000 in coverage all the way up to 30. So you have some coverage anyway. And it's very reasonable and cheap to get that insurance. It's not a very costly insurance. Granted, it's not very comprehensive like some of the other plans that will cover you for up to $1 million or something. Most of the times you don't need that type of insurance here in the Philippines. If you had $200,000 worth of insurance, you'd probably be fine here in the Philippines for most things. So make sure that you're prepared and you pick out a good plan. Also, you can go through Pacific Cross and you can pick out your own plan. You can have a plan basically made up, and the people there will send you the cost assessment of what it's going to cost for that plan and tell you what it covers and everything, so you're all set. Now, for loners here, you definitely want to have some sort of friendships. There's a lot of guys out there that say, well, I like being alone. I just want to live there. I want to enjoy myself. It's cheap living it. You got to have somebody here to be a support mechanism when things hit the fan. Let's put it that way. You need to have that support mechanism for you. If you don't have that support mechanism, you're not going to survive here. You're not going to make it. Bad things will happen, eventually. It does happen. Let's face it, we all die. We all get sick sometimes. You need to be prepared for that. And I can't stress that enough for you loners out there. If you're a loner, you should at least be in part of a community or whatever, either our community, another community. So there's plenty of communities, plenty of people out there that you can befriend or whatever. Whether you're down in Dumaguete, whether you're in Davao, whether you're in Angeles, whether you're in Subic, wherever the heck you are, make sure you befriend somebody and have them become like the person that will take care of anything that will happen to you if you get sick or you die or whatever. It needs to be done. It has to be taken care of. And you don't want to be one of those guys that becomes a burden on anybody or anything. Because some of these people, and I've been there when somebody has passed away and had no planning in place, and it took a long time to get that taken care of. In fact, he sat on a table unrefrigerated for a long time. He had passed away, and it was a terrible mess. It was something that it's burned into my mind that something like that can happen. Because and there's issues with girlfriends and things like that, taking advantage of some of these guys, because some of these guys are dating somebody or whatever. They'll go and lie to the police and say, yeah, I was married to this guy when they weren't. and they'll start taking his wallet. I want his wallet, I want this, and then they take off and they disappear. So you definitely want to have something in your wallet that states who to call, what to do. Have like a little card in there, have it laminated or whatever, and that way there, the police or whoever get your body or whatever, you go into a hospital, you die, at least they have a card in your wallet that they can look at and they can say, okay, we need to call these people and let them know what happened. We need to call the embassy also and let them know. And at least you have that information in there. Be careful, guys. I'm telling you, we see this way too many times. We see it all the time where people over here, they just haven't planned well. And if you don't plan well, man, you can't expect other people to pay the bills over here, because most of the guys over here can't afford to help other people when they get sick. So you have to plan. And I hate to say that, because there's so many guys over here that do come over here and they don't plan, and then they start asking for help, and a lot of the guys will say, geez, I prepared, I'm not going to give my preparation money up for this guy. And I hear that all the time. And a lot of us, even on this channel here, we feel bad for these people. We understand their need, and we feel their need, but we won't take up collections for them because of the fact that once you do that, you also get the reputation on the channel of becoming like an e-beggar channel, and also here I am. I'm trying to push people into getting the right things, to get the right insurance, to have the right preparations. And some of these guys don't have this, even though they've come over and they've watched my channel, they still don't do it. And then they get over here, they get sick. And this is the place where you're going to get sick, because your body's not used to the bacteria here. There's a lot of things going on. You could get injured in a motorcycle accident, a car accident, crossing the street. You could trip and fall on something. There's a lot of things in the road here. Sometimes I see guys trip on some of these things, some of the older guys and stuff like that. These are the things you got to worry about. You have to be careful when you're around here. These things will happen to you when you're over here. They do happen. I got sick over here. You'll get sick too. There's a lot of guys that don't get sick. They're very lucky. Some people, they have a really good immune system. I, unfortunately, do not. So you want to make sure that you're covered insurance-wise over here. I can't stress that enough. And I'll stress it till the day I die on this channel, because it's so important for people to have that. For as little as $1,000 or less in some cases, you can have insurance. I have $30,000 worth of insurance that'll cover me for something pretty major over here. Each year I get $30,000. It starts over at the beginning, it rolls the next year, it rolls over and starts over at $30,000 again. I pay $1,000 a year for that. How can you beat that? You can't. So the thing is about that is that you can get $10,000 worth of insurance for like a third of that. So for like $300 or $400, you can get $10,000 worth of insurance. Why wouldn't you get that? Because the average cost of something over here that's pretty serious, not real serious, but I'm saying like something like just average, would probably cost you about $10,000. So you'd want to have that coverage at least, And for $300 or $400, how can you go wrong on that? And for $1,000, you can get all that extra coverage. And some guys will say, well, insurance is a ripoff. It's a ripoff until you need it. It's a ripoff until you need it. That's the problem. Anyway, guys, remember, if you're alone, be careful, plan, have a will, have things written out, have it done by an attorney, have your attorney's number written in there with some money, leave some money for that attorney or whatever to call these people to take care of you or whatever. That might be the best way to do it. However you feel you want to do it, sit down and have a sit down with an attorney. It doesn't cost a lot to have an attorney over here. It costs almost nothing. It's very, very reasonable and cheap. And most people, when they come over here, they should have that emergency money. They should have that insurance, and they should have things written down legally before they even start their life here. It's the first thing that you should do in the first month that you get here, is get all that stuff taken care of. God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.